Can a metagame kill your fun? What is a metagame? Well, here we are talking about the collection of strategies that is dominant in any game at a given time. So, a metagame is a naturally occurring product of player communication. When tournament results appear, leaderboard positions change, or even just someone in a forum saying something is underrated, all of these go into morphing a meta over time. From game to game, the most meta strategies are often criticized as easy mode or boring. But why is that? Why are people upset over the happenings in any given metagame? Even recently in Eidolon, I saw complaints on why Elemental Sorcerer was not the best meta farmer, and therefore sucked. Well, let's look at some pros and cons of metagames and the pros and cons of following along with them. So, some pros of metagames is info is widely available, allowing players to learn a game easier, and by being able to opt into a strategy that has been refined by masses, a so-called easy mode. You'll learn a game very quickly if you just follow along something that is like a guide of sorts. Because of available information, players need to devote less time to figuring out a metagame and how to best prepare for it. Let's say you're preparing for a tournament, in this case. You can look online and look at tournament results and opt to your strategies into balancing around that. Evolving metagames are also very fun to watch, as evidenced by like League of Legends and other esports. But let's look at some cons of metagames. Diversity gets stifled by narrowing strategies down to what is best, and especially true if one strategy is far too dominant. Just think of any games where you've seen something overpowered that it stifles playing anything else. Individual player interaction can also drop as people just generally blindly follow a meta instead of trying to innovate themselves. It is very hard to innovate. It is very easy to follow along a meta, and generally you will get better results by following along with a meta. All players are also a player's preferred strategy can feel worse to play if it is not the meta pick at the time, as you feel you're intentionally making the game harder for yourself. Think of playing bad characters in MOBA games or a bad strategy in any game. But that said, where does this all tie in with fun? Well, enjoyment from games varies widely even within the same game. Let's say you're playing a game to win, or maybe you're feeling a progression getting stronger over time. Or maybe you're playing for a story. Or maybe you just enjoy the challenge that the game brings. Or maybe you're pulling off some awesome flashy combos. Or even playing a game to innovate the meta itself. All of this and more are perfectly valid ways to enjoy games. You need to identify what it is you want out of the game first. Let's take Magic the Gathering, for instance, a competitive TCG. You can go online and look up tournament results. Um, you can play tournaments and win prizes. So if you're trying to prepare for these tournaments, you can look online, find tournament results, get the deck that you want to play based on its share of the metagame. In those cases, knowing the meta is beneficial to you, what would eventually be your fun. Let's say you win. That is very enjoyable. However, the most popular form of Magic the Gathering is Commander, a format in which you are incentivized to basically ignore a meta. The format revolves around playing with your favorite cards. It's more casual format generally, and winning isn't a priority. You more want to play just cards that are fun for you. Both your tournament scene and your local get together to play Commander will have established metagames. They will exist, but in the case of Commander game, you could just ignore it. It's not the sole purpose of the game. Winning isn't everything. Another example came to mind when Elden Ring was released a little while ago. The game's balance on release was rocky, let's say. The Mimic Tier being one of the biggest offenders for game-breaking balance, and it just changed the way the game was played, basically fundamentally. Consider a player who plays through the game blind, never finds the Mimic Tier, and struggles to the end of the game. The player could have either enjoyed the challenge or been frustrated with the game's difficulty, but their experience was their own. However, let's say that player sees other players online talking about, oh, just go get Mimic Tier. It's the easy mode of the game. Now, even if that player wanted to use Mimic Tier because they think it was cool or it was fun or they like the gimmick around it, because there is a stigma surrounding that item for trivializing the game, they could not want to play it or play with it because other people would judge them, even if they don't know. Just that simple fact that others think of it as trivializing the game would hurt their own enjoyment, as much as some don't want to admit it. People judging your enjoyment can hurt your enjoyment, and all of that would be based around that meta decision that Mimic Tier is the best option in the game. So what do we take away from all this? Well, when you play a game, just try to have your own goals in mind for having fun. I don't mean like analytically trying to maximize, all your fun and this is my strategy for getting the most fun out of a game. I don't mean like that, but this is just basically a long-winded way to say play what you enjoy. Don't you play a game to have fun. Do you get the most fun out of winning or seeing numbers go up as fast as possible? Then sure, study the metagame. It will benefit your way to maximize your fun. However, if that doesn't matter to you, then ignore it. Don't mind what other people find fun. So, do you like a certain strategy? Then, I mean, no matter what anyone else says, just go play it. It can be hard to ignore others' opinions, but at the end of the day, you're playing the game primarily for yourself. For instance, if in Eidolon, Blood Berserker is your favorite, active character because you just like the way it looks, go play Blood Berserker. Divine Knight, Bubonic Conjurer might be better in certain aspects, but that doesn't matter. The fun matters. So if following a metagame is boring for you, or you don't like a particular metagame at the time, then don't play it or just play something off meta. Metas evolve over time as well, so it won't be like that forever, generally. You might find something that you find more fun, or who knows, you might even make a big meta breaking discovery by trying other off meta picks. So, anywho, thank you for listening.